Okay, we're going to problem number 27. It's a very tricky problem to come up with the equation on this question. And once we get the equation, the calculus won't be too bad. So we have a tour service with the following rates. $200 per person if 50 people go on a tour. And 50 is our minimum people for the tour. So you cannot have less than 50 people on the tour. For every additional person over those 50 people, the rate per person is reduced by $2. The tour itself, what it's going to cost the company is $6,000, plus it only really costs them $32 a person to have the tour. So the question is, how many people does it take to maximize your profit? So again, our challenge here will be to come up with an equation. And to begin with, we come up with something very basic. How do you get profit? Well, let's see. Profit is going to equal your income. And let's take off your expenses. If you have your income minus your expenses, we're going to call that profit. So let's break this into a couple pieces. Let's get our income, let's get our expenses, and then from those two we can get our profit. First of all, what's our domain? Well, if n is the number of people, n has to be at least 50. And the most we can go on this is, let's see, for each additional person the rate is 2. It doesn't give us a maximum, does it? I thought there was something there, but I don't see anything there. So it does not look like there's a max to this. So our domain is n has to be bigger than or equal to 50. All right, so let's start with our income. How much do we bring in? So our income, let's call it I. Well, it's $200 per person, but not really. It's $200 because look at this. We get a discount of $2 per person for every person over 50. So let's think about that. It's 200 minus $2 per person for the people over 50. So it's not minus 2 times n, but if we put in here, if we put in the number of people going on the tour, minus 50, that would give us a number of people more than 50. So if I have n is 55 people, 55 minus 50 is 5, times 2 is 10. I get a $10 per person discount. I'm paying $190 per person. Or the people are paying $190 per person. So that's the that's the price per person. And how many people are going on the tour? N. So this was the cost per person, 200 minus 2 times n minus 50. And these are the people. Okay, let's simplify the income just a little bit here. Scroll that up. And this is actually the hardest part of the equation. So our income will be 200 distribute. It looks like I get a minus 2n. And it looks like I get a plus 100 times n. I can simplify a little bit more. And it looks like I get a 300 distribute the n. It looks like 300n minus 2n squared. There's my income. All right. How about the expenses? Well, one expense is the fixed cost. So my expense is $6,000. And then my other expense is $32 per person. So it's 32 times the number of people. So I have an equation for income. I have an equation for expenses. I can get my profit equation. So profit equaled my income, 300n minus 2n squared, minus my expenses, 6,000 plus 32n. Let's simplify that a little bit. My profit is going to be negative 2n squared. I have a 300n, but I'm taking off a 32n. Looks like a plus 268n minus 6,000. And again, our domain is n greater than or equal to 50. Okay, let's find the max on this. How do you find the max or min? We'll take the derivative. So p prime is negative 4n plus 268. And one thing interesting is that 6,000 goes away. 6,000 was the fixed cost. So it doesn't really matter what the fixed cost was in terms of maximizing my profit. The fixed cost could be $100, $1,000, $1 million. That's not going to affect how I maximize the profit. I'll set this equal to 0. I look where it's also undefined, but it's defined everywhere. So it looks like I get 4n is 268, and I divide that, and it looks like a 67, isn't it? Right, 134, yes. N is 67. Okay, let's take a look, a little chart here possibly. Here's x, here's p prime. 67 is my critical point, and I'll go from 50 to 67, and then beyond 67. I want to check that out and see if this is going to maximize my profits or minimize my profits. So give me a number between 50 and 67. How about if we go with 60? So I'll take a 60, stub it in the derivative. 4 times 60 is 240. Negative 240 plus 268 is a positive. And bigger than 67, let's try 70. 4 times 70 is 280. Negative 280 plus 268 is negative. So my derivative is switching from positive to negative. Therefore, I can say my 67 is a max. Max, since P prime switches, this is my only critical point on the interval, switches from positive to negative, I found the max. Okay, have we answered the question? Let's take a look and see. How many people does it take to maximize your profit? It takes 67 people to maximize your profit. And again, if you think this through, I said there was no max to your domain. If you think about it a little bit, you would think the company would have 100 maximum people on the domain, because actually 150, because we come here to their little reduction here. If I had 150 minus 50 is 100 times 2 is 200. They're going to be giving this trip for free to people. So if I missed that in the problem, I missed it. But if there wasn't something in the problem, if that company was smart, they certainly would put some kind of a max on the domain as well. So our maximum number of people to maximize, not maximum people, but the number of people to maximize a profit were 67. That completes the problem.